Andrew Holden here from the Ohio State Extension Office in Ashtabula County, and I am joining you from a recently harvested soybean field to show you how to accurately take a soil sample and how to send that soil sample in to be tested. By completing a soil test, you will be able to know what nutrients are available and what your soil pH is. Before we get started with showing you how to collect a soil sample, first you need to gather the correct equipment. First, you will need a device to take your sample. This could be a shovel, a spade, or a soil probe. Because they are the most accurate, in this video I will be showing you how to use a soil probe. If you do not have a soil probe, you can call your local extension office and they likely will have them available for you to borrow. Next, you will need a clean bucket to collect your soil samples and combine them.
Now that we have our supplies, let's go over how to properly collect a soil sample. The first step is to make sure that all sample cores are taken at the same depth. Most soil tests are calibrated using an 8-inch sampling depth, which corresponds to the plow depth. If you are testing in a no-till field or another situation that you're unsure about, consult your local extension educator. The best way to ensure depth consistency is to mark your collection tool using a permanent marker or a piece of tape at the correct length. As you can see, my soil probe is pre-marked at 6 inches, so I used a ruler and electrical tape to mark my probe at 8-inch depth. The next step is taking the correct number of soil samples. We recommend taking 15 to 20 samples for a field of 25 acres or less. If the field has a history of banded fertilizer, take 20 to 25 soil samples. To take your soil samples, follow a zigzag pattern across your field so you can get an accurate representation of the soil structure. While taking your soil sample, make sure to remove all crop debris or residue off of the soil surface so that it does not contaminate your soil test. For the most accurate soil test, make sure you are not taking any samples from unusual areas, including dead furrows, turn rows, old fence rows, fertilizer spills, or lime stockpiles. Once you have collected your 15 to 20 samples in your clean bucket, mix them together thoroughly to form a composite sample. Make sure to remove any rocks or plant debris from your sample. If the sample is wet, you can lay it out at room temperature in open air to let it dry. Once your soil sample is dry and is free of debris, you can then measure out 1 cup to put in your soil test kit so that it can be sent to be tested. Soil test kits are available for purchase at your local extension office and include a form, a bag for your soil sample, and an envelope to send your sample to the lab. Once you fill your bag with your sample and fill out your soil sample form, you are ready to mail in your test. Here are some final tips regarding soil testing. We recommend completing a soil test every 3 years to keep your soil nutrient levels in check. While you can soil test just about any time of the year that the ground isn't frozen, we recommend soil testing around the same time of year, either in the spring or in the fall, for consistency. Also, make sure to carefully label your samples when doing multiple tests so they do not get mixed up. Soil testing is the only way to know exactly what changes you need to make to your soil. And finally, if you have any issues or questions, please call your local extension office for help.